Hey guys, did you know that I have a Patreon where you can support me and plus get awesome rewards? Or if you're thinking to yourself, but Julian, I want even more bang for my buck while still supporting you, you can pop over to my Redbubble and check out my awesome store with new designs appearing regularly. But for now, enjoy the video you're about to watch.
Hey guys, it's me, Julian Greystoke, and I have some exciting news. My current work in progress, working title, The Game, is ready for beta readers, and that could be you! It's so exciting. This could be your chance to read this book ahead of everyone else, because I'm going to be trying to traditionally publish this book, and that takes a really long time. So if you want to get in on what's going on, you should try to be a beta reader for me. First, I'll talk a little bit about the book, and then we will talk about my beta reading process. So, what is The Game about? The Game is an adult sci-fi story. The main character is that of Song, who is an intergalactic slave. She was stolen from her home in a human colony when she was very young by a species called the Mu, M-U-U, and she was brought up and indoctrinated to be a very good and obedient slave. However, when the family that she has been with for much of her life sells her off to this gladiatorial arena where she will be fighting aliens for the entertainment of the Mu, Song is going to have to change her attitude. She's always tried never to make ripples, but maybe it's time now to start making waves. Not only is Song a kick-ass, strong lady, but she is teamed up in this story with an eclectic group of fellow misfits. She and her team struggle to earn points in the games to get better weapons and gear, as they also secretly struggle to try to escape. It's going to take all of them and all of their varying skills to get them to freedom. If you are looking for a book with a lot of action, but also a great found family dynamic with characters that grow, change, and learn as the adventure goes on, then The Game might be right up your alley. And now Future Me is going to read you a little excerpt just to get you excited, and then we'll talk about the beta process.
A little background before we start our reading. This excerpt comes to you from Chapter 2, where Song and her two new teammates, a human named Kale and a VC named Five, are about to be sent into the arena. So let's join them, shall we? On the other side of the big doors was another corridor, this one wide and curving. The walls were lined with lockers and shelves. Slaves in white were helping the teams prepare as guards looked on. Red Team brought up the rear, taking up a great deal of room behind Song and her three comrades. Song's chest was unbearably tight, and her breathing came in short gasps. Her eyes darted, seeking any escape, no matter how unlikely, but she knew there would be no getting past Red Team and the plentiful guards. Or perhaps she was hoping that there were more members of Yellow Team hiding out someplace, and it wouldn't just be her and two strangers pitted against experienced murderers. No helpful warriors stepped forward to stand with Song and her little company. She clasped her shoulders and shrank into herself, her only solace her ability to keep her face blank. A human slave came up to them carrying metal armbands with a thick line of fluorescent yellow glowing faintly on them. Even Kale didn't bother raising a fuss as his band was snapped to his bicep. It adjusted automatically to fit. The slave placed armbands on Song and Five. Then the young man held out 3 clear tubes filled with fluorescent orange goo. When no one took them, he rolled his eyes. "This is nanogel. You each get 1 per arena day. I suggest you take them." Song reached out automatically, opening her shaking hand to let the canisters clack together on her palm. They were about the right size to clasp in a fist. The slave explained as Song passed a tube to each in her group. To apply it topically, you take the canister in both hands, or one hand in your mouth if one of your limbs is incapacitated. Snap the canister in half and apply the gel with your fingers. "Wait, I've seen this," Kale said, his ashy face brightening marginally. "Nanites, right? This was invented by the Venetressa, and recently converted on Earth to work for our physiology. The nanites enter your body and repair injuries or kill tumors. Then they die and you pass them harmlessly." The slave rolled his eyes. "These will work on any species. To inject the gel, press the metal ring around the canister and a needle will pop out of the end." He plucked another canister from his large collection and demonstrated. "Can we keep these after a fight?" asked Kale, holding his nanogel up to his eye and peering at the bright ooze in the tube. The slave gave Kale a look which spoke of how deeply he doubted anyone on Yellow Team would make it out alive. You return any unused nanogel here at the end of each competition, and they will be cataloged for your use next time you come in, so you accumulate them for your team's use in the arena. Great, Kale said, obviously trying to sound confident. He might have succeeded if his voice hadn't pitched high at the end. Song found that the belts around her top had little loops that were perfect for holding gel canisters, so she tucked hers where she could easily reach it. Why do some of them get weapons? Kale asked, standing taller and looking around at the other teams. Some of them were being handed a startling array of blades and clubs, as well as fitting armor over their uniforms. They earned them, the slave answered tersely, before walking on to help prepare Red Team. You're unluckier than most. Another guard spoke. He was a short human who leaned disinterestedly against a nearby wall, watching them with heavy-lidded eyes. Oh yes? Five asked with a shaky intake of breath. The guard cast a baleful glance over Yellow Team and grimaced. Your first day here, and you're in the arena already. Plus you're on this team. Yeah, I'd say you have a special brand of bad luck. The man cocked his head as a buzzer sounded, this one quieter than the one in the dining hall, but it still got everyone's attention. The mood in the room shifted from one of noisy anticipation to coiled eagerness, as though an invisible wire had been drawn taut through the body of each fighter until they all stood rigid. Kale swallowed visibly and muttered to his companions. Do you suppose this is it? His eyes were too wide. Almost all of the manic energy Song had seen the night before was gone from them. Almost all. There was still a spark, a wild defiance she could spot a mile away. It marked him as an inexperienced slave, and here, perhaps a target. She looked from Kale, as wan and unsteady as she felt, to Five, with his hands clasped together to try to hide their shaking. Song was about to die with these two strangers because they'd been given matching armbands. But then both strangers had stayed at the table with her when they should have cut and run, should have begged to be allowed onto another team. She suspected they regretted this now, but they stayed, and they were standing with her, huddled and shaking, but standing. Five spoke, his tone cutting. No, Kale, this isn't it. We're going to be given treats and allowed to enjoy a pleasant day. It was those snarky words that finally cracked Song's stoic exterior, with a smile of all things. It startled her, but she didn't have time to rearrange her disobedient features as the door at the far end of the preparation room opened and teams began to march through. You never know, she said, her voice shuddering with each ragged breath. We might survive.
Okay, I hope that excerpt was exciting for you because now we're going to talk about the beta process with me and what that looks like. It's really pretty simple, and I'm working on streamlining it even more. The way my process works is once we've exchanged email addresses, I will send you a portion of the game. If you really insist that you want the whole thing, we can work that out, but I find that sending portions works better. I'm thinking perhaps this time I will send out 3 chapters at a time so that people who are reading it get easier flow, and you can let me know when you're like on the second of your 3 chapters. I can then send you the next 3 so you can keep reading right through more easily. The next thing that will happen is along with those chapters I will send an easy questionnaire sheet. I am also streamlining the questionnaire sheet, trying to make it feel less like homework, but it is a really important thing to have people answer. I've had people, after filling out the questionnaire sheet, mention that they would have never thought of the things that I brought up in the sheet, so it was a good thing that I had one, and you can really help me improve this book and make it the best that it can be. Also, the timeline, I am going to have a deadline. I'm probably going to give you about 3 months to read my book, so that is plenty of time to get through it. And of course, we can always communicate. If you feel like you're going to need a little extra time, I'm very chill. You can talk to me. My only requirement for my beta readers is that you please, please, please don't just leave. If you want to be a beta reader but you know that you are not going to have time this summer, then don't volunteer for it. If you are a beta reader and something comes up in your real life, please let me know that it has happened so you don't just disappear. Those are my 2 basic requirements for beta readers, other than likes to read and is willing to answer simple questions. I'm basically trying to get as many beta readers as I can to make sure that at least some of them stick. So if you're thinking to yourself, she's probably already got way too many, that is never the case. I have yet to have too many betas in my experience with these beta-ing books, so please, if you are interested, contact me and let me know. I hope to hear from all of you. I hope you're as excited about the game. It needs a new title, and that's something that you can help me with. Don't forget, everyone, that I post new videos Mondays and Fridays. All of the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo, and if you would like to read the first 3 chapters of the game, are up on Wattpad right now, so you don't even have to make that commitment yet. Just go check them out and see if that seems like something you would be interested in. And if you do decide to be a beta reader, you can feel great knowing that you have helped a book become the best that it can be. And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
What's up, everybody? It is shout out time. Time to shout out to my very first patron, Kim. And if you want to be cool like Kim, become a patron over on Patreon.